motion. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to. What? Oh yeah, I know. That's what they both. Oh my god. Oh yeah. Okay, hey, see you. I gotta teach. I gotta go. Yes, Lord, I'm teaching. You tripping? Yeah, I'm trying. I'm tripping. All right. All right, everybody. Let's. I'm gonna go ahead and go through this. I'm sorry. I was trying to just. All right. Today, the only thing I really wanted to do was I'm gonna go through. Let's do it. All right. So my job today is to go through the whole Texas Revolution. There are going to be a few times here where I will be like some quick short videos in between. Hopefully, it shouldn't take the whole class period, but it's been a little bit longer than I expected. But that's okay. We'll get through it. We'll get through it. And all right. So here we go. All right. So in the warm up, oh, that's the last thing too. As far as technology, since at this point, I'm gonna be teaching or lecturing, whatever you want to call it. The technology piece, it really shouldn't be in technology because I'm not really using technology in my presentation as far as your technology. So saying that, like I said, you don't need it. So look at me, pictures to me, we good. Leave it at that. All right, here we go. So in the warm up, it says Santa Anna's turn. So what are we talking about? Santa Anna's turn from what? He turned from a Federalist to a centralist. All right. And so then that leads us into the actual Texas Revolution, and we'll start here.
During this time of flux, it was decided within the government Texians had to be stopped. The laws of April 6, 1830 were introduced, banning any further American immigration and raising import tariffs. Texas was pissed. But jumping back for a moment, the aforementioned flux of power would finally settle in 1833, when the soldier and politician Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna was elected president. He won his election off his support for federalism, and then in 1834 completely swapped sides when he ordered the disarmament of all civic militias, dissolved Congress, and in 1835 repealed the Mexican Constitution. Santa Anna was a dictator.
All right. So Santa Anna was a dictator. All right. So if you notice, we got colors, right? So the colors will match up with what it is that you guys were supposed to be working on yesterday. If you were finished with your assignments, I know I told you guys yesterday, if you were not finished with your assignments, you were working on that. But if you were finished with your assignments, you can go ahead and progress to the flow map. So starting there, the first box in the flow map was declare independence, and it was pink. All right, and so starting off, the big thing here that I want to point out here on the left side under Stephen F. Austin's arrest is that Stephen F. Austin was really, really respected by both sides, by both people. So it was a big surprise to actually have him be arrested, because if anybody was cool with everybody, it was Stephen F. Austin. So he'd be the last person that you would think would get arrested. All right, and so then the question becomes, well, why was he arrested? He was arrested for writing a letter because of Santa Anna's turn about declaring independence. Why was this a problem for Mexico? Why was it a problem for Mexico? Armani, why was it a problem for Mexico? Right, so why was that a problem? Why was writing a letter a problem? Hmm. Okay, okay. Jasmine, why was it a problem? Okay, cool. Because she said because she feels like maybe Texas wanted to be part of the United States. Okay, possibly. But my question is, why was it simply a problem writing a letter? That's what I'm asking. Why was writing a letter a problem? I see Carlos, but Carlos already answered. So I'm asking somebody else. I'm gonna come back to you, Carlos, eventually. Lilibeth, what you think? Why was writing a letter a problem? Okay, we're getting closer. Uh, here's the thing. 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 Um, Lilibeth, do you have any pets? Do you have do you have any like cousins? All right, so kind of similar. Do you have any pets? No pets. You don't have any siblings? You by yourself? You don't have any cousins or anything that's younger than you? You don't have anybody who's like 2 years old, 1 year old? Nobody? No sister? All right. Here's why I said it. I have a dog. I just got a dog. Never had a dog. All right, first time. I've only had this dog since Monday. So like literally what, 4 days now? So the first couple of days, the dog is 9 weeks old. Very small dog. All right. So this very small dog, 9 weeks old, barely little baby. We're so scared of him getting hurt, right? Like little baby dog, right? And so we're on the couch, and so the dog sometimes will try to look like he's about to go to the edge. So what do you think our natural reaction is to do? Save it. Like, oh, little dude, no, don't jump off the couch, right? So for the first couple of days, we've been trying to like make sure he doesn't hurt himself, hey, don't do that. Well, yesterday, we were a little bit too slow one time. He got to the edge, and what do you think he did? He jumped off. And guess what happened? He landed. Did he die? No. Did he break anything? No. He jumped off and kept going. So what were we nervous about? Him getting hurt. But we were nervous about a dog jumping off of a couch. Not a building. A couch. A couch. Is that crazy for a dog to jump off of a couch? No. Do y'all see how fear can change? See? So, how does it relate to what we're talking about? In my class, when I'm asking you a question, you don't have to be scared to jump off the couch. It's okay. Nothing's going to happen to you. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. It doesn't matter. This is school. And what school is supposed to be is a safe place for you to be able to jump off of a couch. So that way, later on in life, you won't be afraid to jump off of what? Buildings. So when I ask you guys a question, it's okay. Don't be like, oh, I don't want to. I don't know. I want to be wrong. You gonna be wrong. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong. No, it's okay. Hey, all right, it's okay. Carlos, why was a letter? Why do you think? Notice my question. I didn't say what do you know. I'm asking what you would think, which means it might be right, it might be wrong. Everyone knows what's in your head. Why do you think it was wrong? He was wrong for writing a letter.
Because by writing a letter, he was violating freedom of speech, and I think that Texas is going to start a rebellion or something against them.
Okay. Well, here's the thing about it. You are correct in this part. It doesn't matter what the letter said. It's the fact that he wrote a letter and he does not have what? Freedom of speech. So, for instance, in this country, you could say, our president is a big fat Cheeto man. So you can say that because we have, you go say that in Mexico, chink, clink, clink, hey, what I do, Cheeto man? Like, you can't say that. So, freedom of speech, it's a big deal. He broke that law, okay? All right, so next thing that happens, not only does Stephen F. Austin get arrested, he's very well respected amongst everybody. They meet in convention, they go, look, man, things are getting out of hand. The government in Santa Ana lied to us. He went from being a federalist to a centralist. Then we see one of the most respected men in Mexico gets arrested. Things are crazy right now. So the Anglos have a meeting, Texians have a meeting, and they're trying to figure out what we're going to do. Okay, are we going to stay in this country, or are we going to leave? All right. Now, on your flow map, the first section was pink, the next section was brown. In that brown section, I asked you guys to identify the people of the revolution. So let me go ahead and introduce you to one of the first people we're going to talk about today. His name is George Childress. He was known simply for writing the Texas Declaration of Independence. I'm not going to spend any more time here because I think of the time about the puppy and the dog and different buildings. What I will say is this, is that it is exactly what it says. He wrote a breakup letter with Mexico. He said, Mexico, we don't want to be with your boo thing no more. We don't want you to be our bae. We good now. Single life, hashtag, who says about relationship goals, no more, whatever. Blocked. All right, so that's basically what it is. He wrote the little letter saying that Texas wants to be independent. Moving on.
Much of Mexico would openly rebel against him, and he was ruthless in his suppression. In May of 1835, he would crush the militia in Zacatecas and allow his army to pillage, loot, and rape for 2 days. He gained his reputation quickly, and soon Texians were not very fond of him. Military commanders in Texas feared Texians joining the revolts, and so, maybe counterintuitively, began to crack down. In September 1835, the military was ordered to retake a cannon they had given to the militia in Gonzales. When the residents of Gonzales learned of the Mexican military's intentions, they had only one response. When Mexican forces arrived in Gonzales, they found the militia armed with firearms, the cannon, and a banner that read, "Come and take it." Significantly outnumbered, the soldiers were routed with one shot of the cannon, one shot that won the battle, one shot that started the revolution.
All right. So, come and take it. So that simply means the importance of this, everybody, of this battle was that it was the first battle of the Texas Revolution. So that leads us to the people of the revolution. Let me make sure I'm not yet. Okay, cool. People of the revolution. Here we go. So now that the revolution has begun, we have the two generals. If you don't think about military, the generals are the guys who are at the top. Everybody falls underneath the general. So Santa Anna was in charge of the Mexican side. Sam Houston, he was in charge of the Texian side. So if you guys aren't getting this, on my little handout, there were 6 people that I need you guys to know about. We already covered George Childress. I'm covering the other 2, Santa Anna and Sam Houston. So now I've covered 3 people. Here's the other 3 people. William Travis, James Fannin, Juan Seguin. All right, so here's how it works. Guys, when you think of it like this. When you are in a war, and you say, we wave the white flag, what does that mean? Anybody know what that means? Adam. You're surrendering. Hey, we give up. I recognize we're going to lose. I don't want everybody to what? Die. I said, we're going to lose this. I can see you guys win. We'll be your prisoners. So that's kind of how James Fannin did. It says he lost the battle of Colorado Creek, and him and his men were massacred at Goliad. We're going to jump on that in a second. Fannin was the opposite of William Travis. By the way, Travis and Fannin are both streets in Houston. I'm going to give a pass on down near downtown. But Fannin is a street and Travis Street is downtown. That's where they come from. All right. So Travis, he was the opposite. At the Alamo, he looked around and saw that Alamo, they were surrounded. So they both looked like, oh. All right, guys, look, take it. We're going to die. So he realized that they weren't going to make it. And so he wrote a letter basically trying to get Sam Houston to send troops. He said, God, look, man, either we're going to win or we're going to what? Die. So here's the option. Here's the opposite. Travis basically decided, and his men decided, we're going to keep fighting. We're going to die. Let's just fight. Fannin said, we don't want to die. We'll give up. So they surrendered, but guess what happened? They died anyway. They got massacred. Because the way Santa Anna was, everybody always dies. No survivors. So when they gave up, thinking, give up, drop the guns, we give up. Massacre means they were walked over, thought they were good, and they lined everybody up, shot them in the back. Killed everybody. Okay? So that's the difference between Travis not giving up and Fannin, who did give up, but in both battles, everybody would die. And then Juan Seguin, he was a Mexican who actually fought for the Texas side. Yo, what's up?
So, is Sam Houston the reason why this place is called Houston?
Yes. Sam Houston is exactly why this place is called Houston. Yes, sir.
After this, the Texians would quickly hurry to assemble a provisional government, and it was decided Sam Houston would lead as Major General of the new Texian Army. That army would be responsible for running the Mexican garrison out of Texas, and with their series of victorious skirmishes, they were able to recruit many more Texians, Tejanos, and volunteers from the US and even Europe. In its lifetime, the army would amass almost 4,000 troops. Even with that, it was dwarfed by the might of the Mexican Republic. Santa Anna would take personal command of an army of 6,500 men to quickly and decisively crush the revolt. With limited time before the Mexican army's arrival, the Texians began to entrench. Colonel Jim Bowie, Colonel William Travis, and the frontiersman Davy Crockett would set up their men at an old Spanish mission turned military base, the Alamo. Major General Houston...
Wait, what's the mission? A church. Remember I told you guys, Mission in Presidios? So this mission is still there, and this is kind of what they posted up. And that mission is called the what? The Alamo Church, right? So the church is that. So when if you ever go to San Antonio and visit the Alamo, you're visiting an old church.
Houston was well aware the Alamo couldn't hold out against a siege, but Bowie reckoned to allow the fort's capture would be detrimental, and so the Alamo remained garrisoned. Santa Anna and 1,800 experienced soldiers met the Alamo in late February 1836. The defenders numbered only a couple hundred, and Santa Anna made his intentions clear when he rose a red flag against the fort. He would offer no quarter. The siege began immediately with a constant barrage of artillery fire. Jim Bowie would be bedridden with disease, and so command in this trying time was left in the hands of young William Travis. Travis would smuggle letter after letter urging for reinforcements, but there was little in the way of response. On March 2nd, in Washington on Brazos, the Republic of Texas would...
By the way, one last thing on this. Do y'all see the shape of Texas? It looks so. Y'all ever drawn Texas before? So why y'all? So I want y'all to be aware of this. Not that everybody pays attention to all these types of things, but when you see a shape of a state, you think somebody had a pen and said, "I'm going to draw Texas. You curve here. I'm going to go here and there." And like, so why do you think all of Texas curves like that? Because the river. So this shape of Texas comes from the Rio Grande River. That's the border of Texas. So back then, it was easier to say, this side of the river belongs to us, that side of the river belongs to you. Make sense? Okay, so that's why Texas is shaped like that.
Formally declare its independence. But on March 6, back at the Alamo, the walls would be stormed. With both an advantage in numbers and experience, the Mexican army soon broke through the defenses. Travis died almost instantly, Jim Bowie would be shot dead in his bed, and Davy Crockett captured and executed. Survivors were few and far between. The Alamo was a slaughter. Santa Anna had learned this way of war back when he was a lieutenant fighting the Green Flag Republic, and he believed it would work again, that it would crush Texas.
All right. Yes, sir.
Out of the 6 men, was David Crockett one of them?
I don't think he was. Let me, at the end, I'll go and pull it up. I'll pull up the other thing and put this on there. All right, so the Alamo, this is, by the way, this is called an infographic. I like infographics because they're a way of being able to get across some information without a whole lot of words. And so that's what the word infographic means. And so I like for you guys in the future, if you want to use it as a tool to tell me what you've learned, I will take these. All right, so here it is, defend the Alamo. So we see here the Alamo in blue up here, right? And on one side we have Texas, on the other side we have Mexico. And we see that the Texas side had 190 troops. How many people died?
189.
So how many survivors were there?
1.
1. Cool, yeah, really, mega tough. And over here, we see that they have 8 cannons had 600 casualties. So that meant 200 people killed how many?
600.
600. So they had a lot more troops. So again, you can imagine walking out there in front of the Alamo and you got 200 people behind you and you look out there, you're going, oh yeah, that's a lot of people there. You gotta fight. That's like, a lot, right? So obviously, you guys can tell it was a very not a fair fight. But look how long they were able to hold them off for 13 days. What we got? Great question for you guys to look up. Here we go. So you can always Google "Survivor of the Alamo." All right. Next.
After this, the Texians would quickly hurry to assemble a provisional government, and it was decided Sam Houston would lead as Major General of the new Texian Army. That army would be responsible for running the Mexican garrison out of Texas, and with their series of victorious skirmishes, they were able to recruit many more Texians, Tejanos, and volunteers from the US and even Europe. In its lifetime, the army would amass almost 4,000 troops. Even with that, it was dwarfed by the might of the Mexican Republic. Santa Anna would take personal command of an army of 6,500 men to quickly and decisively crush the revolt. With limited time before the Mexican army's arrival, the Texians began to entrench. Colonel Jim Bowie, Colonel William Travis, and the frontiersman Davy Crockett would set up their men at an old Spanish mission turned military base, the Alamo. Major General Houston was well aware the Alamo couldn't hold out against a siege, but Bowie reckoned to allow the fort's capture would be detrimental, and so the Alamo remained garrisoned. Santa Anna and 1,800 experienced soldiers met the Alamo in late February 1836. The defenders numbered only a couple hundred, and Santa Anna made his intentions clear when he rose a red flag against the fort. He would offer no quarter. The siege began immediately with a constant barrage of artillery fire. Jim Bowie would be bedridden with disease, and so command in this trying time was left in the hands of young William Travis. Travis would smuggle letter after letter urging for reinforcements, but there was little in the way of response. On March 2nd, in Washington on Brazos, the Republic of Texas would formally declare its independence. But on March 6th, back at the Alamo, the walls would be stormed. With both an advantage in numbers and experience, the Mexican army soon broke through the defenses. Travis died almost instantly. Jim Bowie would be shot dead in...
Did I go back? Oh, okay, yeah, I did go. I don't know how we went. Okay, my bad. I'm like sitting there going, this looks. Okay, just so y'all know, full disclosure, this is why I didn't catch it right away. I've been doing this every hour since 9 o'clock. Because this is right, every class I get, I gotta do the same thing over and over again. So this is why you guys say, why don't you do this every day? Because I'm literally doing the same thing every single hour. When you guys leave, all right, Coach Moore, leave. My fifth period comes in, we're gonna be doing fifth period. When you walk by, go to the bathroom, what are we doing? The same thing, right? So for me, my days get really boring because I'm doing the what? Same thing every single hour. That's why I don't do this every day. All right, here we go. So my bad, I didn't catch it because I was like, I'm just used to hearing it now. I was like, wait, I thought we just did we just do that? If I said, yeah, I say that, okay, we're not tripping. Anyway, all right, Runaway Scrape. Y'all crazy, man. That was in one of the movies. We're gonna watch it again. All right, Runaway Scrape. So what this basically means is, I don't know if you guys have, some of you guys may be in the boxing. I'm not really in the boxing, but there's one guy who Coach Demerson is crazy about. His name is Money Mayweather. All right, so this guy, Money Mayweather, he's a boxer. He went 50-0 right here. He never lost. All right, and one of the reasons why he's one of the most controversial boxers is because not only, and I told you, I got you. You're not gonna be late. Guys, seriously, don't do that. Listen, y'all act like y'all gotta go across the building. How many of y'all leave go to academy for next class? Like, what's your next class, Adam? All right. All right, cool. So here we go. So the idea is that he was a very controversial fighter because here's the reason. Most times when people want to see a fight, they want to see two people going at it, right? And he doesn't. He's known for winning on defense. So you can't hit him. So he's not actually doing all the aggressive. He's like sitting back, move, can't hit me, miss me, that type of thing, right? But he's very good at it. So one runaway scrape is that as the settlers were hearing about Sam Houston, hold on, stop. Listen. If y'all are doing that, y'all don't understand this. When you leave, the bell rings, I dismiss you. So that means I will make you wait until I'm finished. You can't leave when the bell rings. I dismiss you. Yeah, but you're not paying attention to me. Right? Okay. So what I'm saying is you're tracking up because you're afraid you're going to be what? So if I write you a task, you're going to be late? Stop trying to progress something. You're not going to be late. I'm not going to do that to you. You know what I'm saying? I got you. I'm not going to let you be late. You're good. I got you. All right? You're good. Adam, you do kind of got to go a little far. Got you. Don't worry. I got you. Here we go. Runaway scrape. So the idea is the settlers were running away because they're hearing about Santa Anna who kills everybody. So they're like, oh, we got to get out of here, baby. Let's go. Grab the kids. Hey, let's get that stuff. We got to get away. He's coming. All right? So everybody's running away. At the same time, Sam Houston is doing the same thing. So Santa Anna's army is trying to track down Sam Houston's army. But he keeps moving the army. So here comes Santa Anna. Come back and fight. No, why are you doing this? Come back and fight. So what's happening is Sam Houston is running away because he needs time to train his army. Right? And so at the very end, at the Battle of San Jacinto, right outside of Houston, he finally stopped, and when Santa Anna's army was resting, he attacked. So the whole time he had been running, and also he surprised them, turned around, and started running and attacked. And they won in the Texas Revolution. They won in 18 minutes. Only 11 people died on the Texan side, and 650 people died on the Mexican side. Because the Mexicans were like, hey, we're sorry, you got us. We were sleeping, we were resting, we didn't know. Take us for prisoner. And what did they say? Nah, remember how you killed my boys in Goliath? Remember how you killed everybody in Alamo? Yeah! Right? Okay. So that's how it ends. If we notice here, right here, it ends on first battle, Gonzales. Then they declare the independence. Middle battles, Alamo, Goliad. And then it ends with the Battle of San Jacinto. And they end the war with the treaty. And basically tells Mexico, you guys have to recognize us. You guys have to recognize us as our own country. So again, now, tomorrow, I may not be here. So the assignment tomorrow is going to be a matching activity or some type of sorting activity with the information that you guys got today. And I'll see you guys on Monday.
On paper, you're gonna publish. So what?
Publish it?
On paper, you're gonna publish.
No, publish it. I'm gonna publish it. Today, you finish your notes, finish your format. Adam, you need to pass? You good? Okay. Y'all need to pass? Anybody need to pass? Y'all going too far? Y'all good? Okay.
How is he gonna force that hard?
I'll be focused. What's up?
I already turned in the Mexico thing
Okay.
and the 3 lives in the tree.
Cool. Okay, cool.
Where is your mind, sir? I am my dog.
Yo, what's up?
You got a Chromebook charger for HP?
What kind of for Android?
No, like a HP Chromebook charger.
The only one I have is a Circle. No, not an HP because yeah, you got one like this one. Let me see. You talking about this one? Yeah, the only one I got a Circle. Come on.
No. What does this mean?
Yes.
Was it the centralist, the person who keeps on the centralist?
Just guess. Just guess. I like you thinking of.
Toodles.
All right, handsome. Have a good one, bro.
You too.
See you soon, man. Let's see.
Okay.
Since you moved in October. All right, Kimberly, I'm gonna log off and log back in. Okay.